Being a caretaker for my mom at a young age, starting at 15, it was really hard. One, because I was dealing with my own stuff, but it's a large burden to put on a child to take care of anybody, much less their own parent. And my mom was a single mom. My dad wasn't really in the picture. And then of course, my mom was experiencing some very serious symptoms, visual, auditory hallucinations, delusions. And she's quite an intelligent person. So she made the delusions sound real. It's kind of like, how do I manage my own life while also trying to support my mom? And a lot of questions and no answers, just kind of how it always felt. And it was just really hard. Well, my name is Asante. What I'm about, helping people generally speaking, passionate about mental health, passionate about diversity. But yeah, I'm just a pretty chill person who likes to have fun, but also likes to help people in the process. Because we were poor, we lived a life where sometimes, we had to find loopholes in the system to just make it work. Me and my brothers, we've always been aware that this is kind of how my mom got things done. So when she started with the delusions and the conspiracy theories, it was kind of like, well, it sounds like things you've told us before. So it was really confusing to know what was real and what wasn't. My mom also experienced a mental health breakdown in the summer between my grade 9 and grade 10 year. And that was very, I think, shocking and devastating for the entire family. And without a lot of support, I just didn't really know what to do, how to handle it. Kind of went into my own world, and very quickly I found myself in a deep depression and experiencing lots and lots of anxiety, just really debilitating in a lot of ways. Social anxiety, agoraphobia, the fear of being in open spaces, being in crowds. It was really challenging for me to live life normally. Also with my mom experiencing her own mental health challenges that were ongoing for many years after her first breakdown, I kind of became the de facto caretaker. So I had that responsibility on top of trying to be a teenager, trying to manage my own mental health challenges, which I didn't really understand yet. So I just had a lot of pent up frustration, anger, sadness, despair, dread, you name it. I had a lot of it, and it was just all kind of, circling inside of me. It was very turbulent. But the thing is, not a lot of people noticed because I had a very stoic presentation, and I transformed to, someone who barely ever left the house, didn't really talk to anybody at all, very quiet, standoffish, had humongous walls up. I come from a community and a culture where mental health is, punished. I already kind of had that stigma of not being hypermasculine against me, so I didn't want to talk about my stuff because I felt like it was just feeding into that stigma of me not being masculine enough. But at a certain point, it was just a choice between living the life I wanted or suffering. And I didn't want to suffer anymore. So I said, yeah, I'm going to get some help. And that's kind of how my journey began. I was always hanging around my teachers because I wanted to be around adults. I didn't feel like I could relate to a lot of the kids around me because the things they were talking about were not the things I was thinking about. For them it was music, basketball, girls, and I'm thinking about rent and survival. So I was gravitating to a lot of folks who were adults. And anyway, I read the autobiography of Antoine Fisher called Finding Fish, I believe. And it's really interesting. My grade 12 English teacher just handed it to me. It's almost like he knew. This guy, Antoine Fisher, he's an African-American male, and he experienced a lot of just so much trauma growing up, and obviously developed mental health challenges himself, and he had a very difficult life. And his story ends with meeting the person who would become his wife, and then kind of moving toward normalcy. And that really resonated with me because when I was a kid, the thing I'm most worried about was, would I ever be a normal person with a normal life? His description of how he grew up was very akin to mine in the sense of never feeling like he had a place where he belonged, always, dealing with deep insecurities, his own mental health challenges. And I never in my life experienced a story of someone who looked like me, who had gone through similar things, who had made it out well on the other side. So this one really gave me a lot of hope, and reading this kind of made me feel like, okay, it is possible. And now I'm in a position where I get to tell my story and I get to help others. And, reading Antoine Fisher's story not only motivated me to, be resilient, or, to be hopeful and do all the things that were necessary to help me get better, it also made me realize how important stories are and the hope that can come from them. So for me, having the opportunity to tell my story is really important, because I know that there's someone out there who is going to hear it and be helped by it, and experience an upward trajectory in their life. And that's just really special for me. For anyone who's apprehensive about reaching out, what I would say to them is, it is scary, but it's probably going to be the best thing that you've ever done for yourself in your life. That's it.